Hey, what's up, guys? It's LEGO Hobo 910 here with another LEGO video, and this is the fourth and probably final video that I'm doing this summer of kind of my armies or collection videos. This is my Rebel Army, the fourth Star Wars one that I've done. Like I said in the first one, I'm not sure if I'm going to do this every summer because I might not get enough more to justify it every summer, but a minimum I'll probably do it like bi-yearly, but we'll see how I feel next summer and, summers after that. So anyway, let's get started with my Rebel Army here. So we're going to start with the minifigures as always, and this is actually the second largest army I have in minifigures with 60 figures, right behind the Imperials with I believe 76. I originally thought this was going to be one of the smallest, and that's mostly because I really didn't think about the main characters when I was thinking about the army, and that's what makes up the majority of this army. Like, no joke, it makes up most of it, because in the front here is kind of, our random soldiers. There's kind of like a thick aisle here, and then that cuts across kind of our random soldiers. And yes, some of these pilots and characters here are named, like I believe those three, that one's named, these three are all named, but they're like, not, kind of main characters. Whereas back here we have original trilogy main characters, and here's some Rogue One characters as well as droids. So, are just kind of regular troops actually make up the smallest part of the army, which is kind of funny. So that's the main reason why I thought it was going to be smaller than it is. Let's start looking at them. Here's kind of our ground forces. As you can see, a lot of them came from the Rogue One sets. These four came from a battle pack, and these three just came in other sets. These two being almost identical, the only difference being the legs and, of course, weapons. Then, yeah, back here's three named characters. We have Payao, Bistan, and Moroth, who all appear in Rogue One. And then in the back, we have a couple of Hoth troopers. Over here are our pilots. We have Biggs, Zeb Senesca, and then I think this is meant to be Wedge. And then these two are just kind of, this is a random X-Wing pilot, then here's just a random B-Wing pilot. Then we have these two identical random Y-Wing pilots, then a A-Wing pilot, then this kind of old Y-Wing pilot, as well as these three are pretty old as well. And then we have an old version of Tien Num. I believe the only version of Tien Num. And then we have two ground crew back here, one newer one and one older one, as well as Admiral Raddus over there. So now let's move to our main characters back here. As you can see, I have three versions of Pilot Luke, just kind of a normal one. Here's an older one, then here's the 20th anniversary one with, of course, the 20th anniversary Prince. Then we have just a couple other versions of Luke, just kind of him in his normal white outfit, then him in the Bacta-Tank. Then in the back we have kind of normal Leia, Hoth Leia, and then an older Hoth Leia, as well as 20th anniversary. Then only one version of Lando. He's the only 20th anniversary figure that I have yet to get my hands on, and I need to at some point. Then we also have kind of a normal Han Solo, Cloud City Han Solo, when he's like kind of captured by Jabba in just the white shirt. Here's one from Solo when he's on Kessel, and then here he is like in Imperial disguise. As well as then we have an older Hoth Han Solo, and then we have this 20th anniversary Han Solo, as well as then three Chewbacca's. These two are basically the same, just this one has the bowcaster and this doesn't. And then here's an older version. As well as we have one last Han Solo back there, which is Han Solo and Carbonite. And over here is the Rogue One characters with two versions of Cassian Andor, two of Jyn Erso, K2SO there. Then we have Chirrut Imwe, Baze Malbus, and Bodhi Rook. As well as we have a couple Astromechs back there, these two being two different versions of R2. I believe I have a couple more R2s laying around, but it's the same version, so I didn't bother, looking for them. Then we have three random Astromechs back there. I believe this one's R2-Q2. It's Biggs Astromech, and just two kind of random ones. Back here we also have a few small Battle Pack builds. This one really doesn't have much to say about the Battle Pack builds. It has hardly any, unlike the other armies, which have a decent amount. We have one Hoth vehicle, and then those two came in one Battle Pack together, a speeder and then a little turret. As well as we have a few ground crew vehicles back here. This one came with a Y-Wing, the newer Y-Wing. This one came with an old A-Wing, then this one came with the new A-Wing. So now let's go and look at our larger ships. Let's start over here with these small ships, the A-Wings. Here's the newer version of the A-Wing. I believe it's 2016, 2017, maybe 2018, something like that. Then back here we have an older version of the A-Wing, I believe like a 2005 or something like that. Then we also have two X-Wings over here, the newer one, which I'm 90% sure is either a 2018 or 2019 set. I think 2018. And then we have this one, which is like 2005, 2006 or something like that. We then also have two Y-Wings. Sadly couldn't get them like right next to each other just because I had a hard time fitting this stuff all in, the recording area here on the table. Even though it's not, like, one of the biggest armies, just all its vehicles are very, flat and spread out, whereas, like, the Imperial Army had much more vertical vehicles. We have two Y-Wings here, the newer one, which I believe is, like, a 2017 one, and then we have this older one, which I believe is, once again, like, 2005 or 2006. We then have the only version of the U-Wing we've gotten from Rogue One, as well as then the first of, I believe, two B-Wings back there, and I just have it in a little stand. It comes with a holder there to hold it upright, but then, obviously, you can take it out and just lay it down. I just decided to put it there, mostly because I didn't have ground space. I'll just pull that out for you. Yeah, here's the B-Wing, and then, obviously the wings can, whatever, and then it swoops around. I just figured I'd put it in the holder most because I was running out of space and I didn't have this much space to put it, and as you can see, that takes up hardly any space. And this Rebel Army here actually has the most kind of large vehicles. The Imperial Army had, I believe, 7. This has 8. So it slightly beats the Imperial Army in large vehicles, but it has nowhere near as many battle pack builds and isn't quite as close in figures. So I still consider the Imperial Army to be slightly bigger, even though this has more large vehicles. So yeah, this is my Rebel Army. It actually really surprised me how big it was. I thought it was going to be a lot smaller, because also when I was thinking about the different armies before I was doing this whole series, I kind of forgot that I had two versions of most of these ships. Like, I forgot about the second X-Wing and the Y-Wing. I think I remember that I had two, forgot about the second A-Wing. I think I remembered I had two Y-Wings, though. So I thought it was going to be a lot smaller, because I forgot about a lot of these ships. And also, like I said, when I was thinking about the army size, I was kind of just thinking about the unnamed kind of just soldiers. I wasn't really thinking about all the named characters, which is what takes up most of this army, especially when you have, like, 5 versions of each of them, So, yeah, that's my Rebel Army. This is the 4th and final video in the series. I hope you enjoyed my kind of army collection series over the past couple of days here. I had a lot of fun kind of going through some older sets, rebuilding them, looking back on them, that sort of thing. It was definitely a fun little idea that I really like doing. Like I said, I might try to do this every summer, but I'm not sure if I can justify it. But yeah, it was really fun. I hope you enjoyed it. That's all from me for now, and bye.